Hi, I'm Johnny. I'm a global artist ambassador for Fenix360, and I'm blessed to be joined today by the Grammy nominated bass player, producer, and engineer, JAH David. Hey, JAH D, how are you, man? Good to see you.
I'm blessed, Johnny. How are you? How's everything going?
Oh, man, it's great, brother. Thanks so much. Hey, listen, I tell you, JAH D, I'm really happy to be with you and looking forward to learning about your personal journey and how you got involved in music. But first and foremost, I'd like to share a collaboration from your track Find a Way by Earl 16 featuring Mr. Williams.
Of course.
Excellent, man. Okay, everyone, let's tune in now to JAH David with Find a Way.
Reaching out to all royal kings and queen, man like Mr. Williams alongside Earl 16. Touching policy.
Born and raised in the ghettos of the city.
Ghetto living, you know.
When we were young, the living wasn't easy.
Tell them.
We had to be strong. Yes, we had to be humble.
Yeah, I have a smart, you know.
Because survival was the key.
Necessity, you know. Yeah.
And hanging out on street corners in some volatile area,
Show ya.
you're about to get pulled over by gunmen, police, or the soldiers. You could end up on death row
See,
for things you never know.
like so many.
We had to do the best we can not to end up in the prisons.
Tell them now.
I've got to find my way back home,
I know you're forward now.
and no more will I roam.
No, 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 no.
'Cause it's been so long, we've
long,
been down in Babylon,
Nah, show ya.
and there's no place for the Rasta man.
Watch out. When not to get there, you have to step it. It no really matter anyway you want check it. System, I just to how them set it. 500 years, bingy man now forget it. Up in at the hills, pan the farm where we edit. Down in at the city, you want pay blood shedded. Marcus Garvey, they done come set it. And Earl 16 just a sing out the message. Watch out now.
JAH David, excellent. So great to share your music with everyone. Thanks so much. Now, listen, can I ask you now, where are you from? Where do you hail? And how'd you get involved in music and all the different disciplines that you do?
Yeah, well, I grew up in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
I was into music at a very, very young age. You know, as basically for as long as I can remember hearing, I've been heavily attracted to music, the sound of music. You know,
Yeah.
um, I started playing violin was my first instrument, and I was playing violin in primary school around maybe third grade. I think I started,
Okay.
right? It. And I did that for maybe a year or so, and then begged my parents for a guitar.
Yeah.
I got a guitar, little acoustic, I think like $40, $30 little thing, little guitar, junior size when I was probably, I want to say 10, 9 or 10,
Yeah.
something like that. And I just went into it. Just got into it hard. I basically taught myself, but they gave me a couple of lessons after I had shown initiative, my parents, and they
Right.
saw
Mhm.
actually I already learned some things on my own. So I got a few lessons. And I started playing electric guitar. Probably one of my first influences, biggest influences as a child was Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
I grew up on a lot of rock and then older soul music. I'm a child of the 80s, so I grew up on that, Wonder and those kind of things, you know, were in my house, rock and roll. And I got into Bob Marley probably through my older brother when I was probably around 10, 9, in that range there. Cause he listened to Bob Marley. By the time I played in rock bands and that kind of thing, playing guitar in high school. And by the time I was out of high school, I was basically just listening exclusively to reggae. You know, as a child, like I said, it was like soul, and I left out hip hop, honestly, because I was very into hip hop as a child too. You know, being from Rhode Island, so close to New York, my family was from New York, so we used to go back and forth to New York, and you know, people would be break dancing, and this is in the 80s. You know, I used to try dance a little too, because I was into it. You know, I was really into hip hop growing up as well. So music was just always just everything. My dad listened to jazz. Like I said, my mother was into like Stevie Wonder and those kind of things. I was into rock. My brother was into rock and Bob Marley, and I was listening to hip hop. So right around the time I got out of high school, I transitioned from guitar to bass. And it was right around the time when I was listening exclusively to reggae. I had kind of dropped all other music and only listened to reggae. You know, like first it started with only Bob Marley, and then it went to Black Uhuru and Burning Spear and Culture and Israel Vibration, and it just on and on and on and on. And I started listening to dub reggae music, where the bass line and the drums are very, very prominent, and really connected as a bass player to the bass line and the drum of reggae music through this dub music, you know, just going deep into music. Then I ended up moving to San Diego with a good brethren of my childhood, brethren named JAH Oil, who went on to play. Now he is a guitarist for the famous reggae band Wailing Souls. But he and I and some other brethren of ours in San Diego started a Rastafari reggae band called, like a Nyabingi Rastafari reggae band called Jah Blood and Fire Angels, that was spearheaded by Shagga and Jawan. And we formed a label. I was working at a record store at the time, a reggae record store, very famous as well, by my elder, owned by my elder, Ross Elliott. Very prominent Rasta man from long time. He did a video called Rastafari Voices, which covered the Tabernacle, had coverage from the Tabernacle in Jamaica in the 70s, the first one to ever have any actual footage and publish any footage, video footage from Nyabingi, Isis, and Tabernacle. So he and I got very close when I worked at his shop, which was a reggae culture shop, vinyl and CDs and tapes and things.
Cool. Yeah.
And we started a label, he and I and JAH Oil, same way. It ended up just being Ross Elliott, another brethren of ours, a partner of mine named Kwashi, and I, and we ended up starting this label called Zion High Productions, which we have to this day. This actually year coming will be our 20th year anniversary.
Oh, brilliant, man.
And yeah, we have about 30 releases, about 30 albums at this point, and we're still building. For many years now, I've been working with a production collective I'm a member of a production collective called Zionite Kings.
Okay.
Which is my partner, Tippy I from I Grade Records. He has a label called I Grade Records. And Andrew Moon Bain from Luster Kings Productions, which is another label. That's his label. So the three of us produce music and have produced music together now for about 15 or more years at this point. Moon is a guitarist, flautist, mixing engineer. Tippy is a guitarist. But everyone's a producer, obviously, but he's a guitarist, keyboardist, mixing engineer as well. And I'm the bass player, and then we basically use drummers. You know, right now we've been working with Roberto Sanchez from Spain as a drummer, who's been great. So that basically brings us up to nowadays, you know,
Up
with the
to
musical.
nowadays, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
listen,
I tour. I'm a touring bass player as well. I toured with both Pressure Bus Pipe, but many artists, but primarily Pressure Bus Pipe out of the Virgin Islands, U.S. Virgin Islands, and JAH out of Jamaica. So those are the artists I toured
JAH
with.
David, there's so much to, in essence, connect with you on your journey and experience. Because, you know, I also, you know, am kind of, you know, from the 80s and was influenced by so much of the music that you also have related. In rock, definitely, we had our local LA rock stations, and you know, you just, it's, the radio was so influential in terms of,
Oh,
you know, as a teen, you know, what kind of music you might be exposed to. And, you know, I can
definitely.
remember getting my first Bob Marley Positive Vibrations album, you know, that I was turned on to by a friend of mine's older brother. And he had a
So hold on.
eclectic. Yeah.
This is in Philly. This is in Philly. Or you already moved
No,
to
I'd already
the
moved
west?
to I'd already moved to LA. So I mean, at around
Okay.
7 years old. So from that
Oh,
point, like, you know, I was exposed to the LA music scene, which was
yeah.
possibly more robust. I don't know, but we had some great stations out in Pasadena, California, like K Rock. And at the time, you know, you mentioned hip hop, you know, also punk and new wave music had just emerged, and we had some real powerful stations there too. So I was really lucky to be part of the Los Angeles music environment and have absorbed through Hollywood and elsewhere, you know, a lot of musical influences. But
Yeah.
coming through at that time frame, I think was an explosive time frame for a lot of different kinds of music and artists that
Definitely.
obviously have made an impact upon you. It's interesting how you dove so deeply, soulfully into the reggae music genre as almost an identifier with your own soul's calling, right? And
Definitely.
also your transition with, you know, the violin, which is, you know, imagine a little kid who's almost like told, you know, take your lessons. It's something that you actually enjoyed, and then it segued into something maybe you were more vibe into the guitar, and then just stuck with it. And to have a discipline like that as a young kid, it tells me that there's something soulfully, you know, seated in who you are and what you express through music. Then all the different collaborations you've had in your various travels, and also the establishment of these relationships, like, you know, Ja Elliott and the shop in San Diego. These are all incubators, man, for now, you
Yes.
know what I mean, your prominence, and also this experience through Zion High, that you have the ability to now mentor other up and emerging artists who could potentially discover and be part of, you know, your influence on them. So I find it all real inspiration, bro. You know,
Yeah, man.
very inspiring. So
So,
as far as the current, you know, Find a Way and this and your latest nomination, can you tell me a little bit about that?
yeah. Well, Find a Way is off of our new album called it's by the artist Earl 16, who's a very, very, very long time Jamaican reggae artist from the Roots era. He used to work with Lee Scratch Perry and Augustus Pablo, like some of the most classic reggae producers from the golden era of reggae, which is like the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
So and he's prominent right up until now. He lives in London, and we did this album, Rightful Ruler, via email. Basically, like, we created the rhythms, and then I sent him the rhythm tracks, and he went to his studio in England, in London, and voiced, and then sent them back to me, and I mixed them. Right.
Amazing,
So
right?
that's basically how the workflow went. And it was released on my label, Zion High Productions, produced by my same collective, Zion I Kings, and it was released on November 18th that just passed.
Uh-huh.
And then the nomination is for Zion I Kings, the production collective, for a rhythm that we produced on the Protege Third Time's a Charm album that just got the nomination, one of the 5 nominations for the best reggae album of the year for 2000. I think they call it 2023, I think, Grammy 20, but it's 2022. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but it's from this last year, 22.
Well,
So,
congratulations on that nomination, and also, on your 20-year anniversary. And so
yes.
let me ask this question. And and I loved hearing some of your musical influences, man. And you know what I mean? And they
Yeah,
still probably have kind of an underlying current in everything that you
I
do.
love.
But let me ask this question now, JAH David. How can people find you or learn about you online or through the internet? Where are some of your digital handles? Where are you located?
Okay, well, me personally, on IG, I'm JAH David 777.
Cool.
You can also find my label, Zion High Productions, at Zion High Productions on IG. The production collective Zion I Kings as well is on IG at Zion I Kings. The label has a website, www.zionhighproductions.com for the label. Facebook, same Zion High Productions Facebook. I don't have a JAH David Facebook. And yeah, that's about it. I don't think we really have a
Man,
SoundCloud. So
that's
yeah,
great. And if they were putting a search for JAH David, some of these links would come up too, right?
for sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
man. Cool. And so listen, what can we anticipate then? What are you working on right now that's coming up, JAH David?
Okay, well, right now I have 3 albums that are currently being pressed that are we've been working basically just vinyl lately in terms of physical copies. We haven't been pressing CDs, so we're just pressing vinyl. So they're all at the press right now to be released next year, and that is the first one is a Glenn Washington
Nice.
album called JAH Children. The second one, and so obviously these are done because they're at the press already.
Sure.
Second one is Little Roy. It's called Woke Up, another album.
Nice.
And then the third one is by Ake Becca, which is a featuring Ake Becca project. So all songs, Ake Becca is a very, very prominent, almost mystical figure in the world and reggae music, and for our people as Rastafari people. He transitioned, he's no longer with us a few years ago, and this is some work that I was left with, that he and I collaborated on, and I added some artists on the tracks. So there's some featured artists that are also some very prominent, great reggae artists. So that will be the third one that will come out. I actually think we have another project that might make it into the schedule for 2023. So we'll see about that.
That's excellent, JAH David. I love how, in essence, Decker left that piece of content, that aspect of him in your mystical hands in order to be able to enhance and create and invite others to be part of. It's almost like a living legacy, through your own creative sensibilities that it is a spiritual vibe. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this is released, and we will definitely learn more by following a lot of the social channels you mentioned. So I want everyone to
Yes.
tune into the social media channels that you find posted below our interview today. And we're also grateful, brother, that you're going to be on the Fenix 360 app so that fans can discover you there too, man. So
Nice.
this has been an honor for me to learn all about your journey and some of your collaborations and creations. And thank you, brother. Blessings, man.
Yes, Johnny. Thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor as well. Thank you. Great to know you. Great to get to know you better. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, brother. Blessings, man. Respect.
Bless, Johnny.
Undaunted by the driving rain, a sea of faces awaited at the Palisados airport the arrival of a living legend. To some, he was the King of Kings, the Lion of Judah, even a god. But to most, he was a mild-mannered monarch who had won the respect and admiration of Jamaicans.
And one of the elders saint unto me, weep not beyond the land of the tribe of Judah, the root of David hath prevailed to open up the book and loose the seventh seal thereof. Yeah, ye almost hail the King. Hail ye Selassie I the King. Yeah, ye almost hail the King. Selassie I the King. Who ride upon the heavens I reign, soldier. Clothed in majesty you will see, Oja. Come 2nd of November 1930, Jah. It's just a city, Ara, that is Ethiopia. The conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. Satama Sagana Lion Lakambisia. Direct descent of Solomon and Queen of Sheba. King Alpha and Omega Abuna. Yeah, ye almost hail the King. Hail ye Selassie I the King. Yeah, ye almost hail the King. Hail ye Selassie I the King. Who come forth conquering to conquer, who will see, Oja. Revelation chapter 6, it show us plainly, Jah. He ride up on the heavens by his name, Oja. Philistia and Tyre with Ethiopia. Oh Lord, oh excellent is he, Oja. Lord of the abyss and heaven see, Oja. Rastafari mean head creator. Him at the globe, the scepter protector. Yeah, ye almost hail the King. Hail ye Selassie I the King.